We are live. Couple minutes early. Let me see. We decided to sneak in a few minutes early, everybody. Just for fun. Just for fun. Who is going to be the lucky winner tonight? Hey, Melissa, how are you? How are you? And Susan from Kentucky. I want to be in Kentucky. I want to be anywhere but here. Kathy Owens. Hey, Kathy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Howdy, howdy, howdy from Texas. Hey, Edie. Hopefully, Edie, I am saying your name right. Is it Edie or not Eddie or I don't know. It's been a rough one, Melissa. Been a rough one. Hi, Kathy. In Wyoming? I don't know.
At City Halls.
I don't know. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Marie. You stayed up. You stayed awake. Yay! And if you get tired and need to fall asleep, we have the replays here for you. Hi, Bettina. We snuck on. Hey, Diane, you found us. We snuck on a few minutes early, just because hey, Kathleen. Hey, Rachel. I didn't see you slip in there. Hey, Mariana. Sorry about that. So tonight, we did slip on a few minutes early, but we're going to have to kind of move along because the little demo went a little longer than I anticipated. Hey, Peggy. And we have our little drawing tonight. Whoops, get back in the bowl. We have our little drawing. Whoops, get back in the bowl. We have our little drawing tonight of all the names that commented on our thing. Yes, we're a week or two late. We had some things go on in the family. Like the boys, ignore the young men part of the comment. Okay. So we are giving away a 4-piece set of the single dual drapes. And this was made with one of them. See those edges? See how that looks? And tonight I'm going to demo how I did the dogwood, only it's not going to be a dogwood. So, hey Barb, Melody, Sydney, Deanne, and Sylvia. Hello to everybody. I didn't even get on. Let me jump on my phone just in case I need to see messages. I forgot to do that. Shame on me. Let me find it. There it is. I'm going to turn it down so I don't hear it. Actually, I'll turn it off. And there we go. Okay, just in case I need to see any comments. You can't wait to get yours. Yeah. So remember, when we put the dual drapes out, it was a pre-order. They were not supposed to even begin to ship until after Labor Day. And I think most of you know that we had a death in the family last week, so that put us back a couple days. And next week there will not be a live at all. My kids will be attending the funeral, and I will be in North Carolina at my mother's, which is a tough one also. So there will not be a live next week at all. Just putting that out there so you know. We'll put reminders out there, but we'll do something really special after that. You're in Alabama, Rhonda. Ooh, you're going to have to come on over for a workshop. We are putting them on the schedule. All right. Thank you, Rachel. Huh?
We're not going on vacation.
Kathleen, we're not going on vacation. This is a family necessity with my mom. It is not a vacation. I wish it was, but no vacation in the future for us at all. Anyway, so let's, I know it's only 4 minutes in, but we are, thank you, Mariana, we are going to jump right in to this. What I'm going to show you tonight is another way of using the stencils. Everybody loved this plate that I did a while back, and the technique I used on this is what I'm going to show you tonight. Again, though, not this particular one, but you'll get the idea, and I give you some different ideas. This is a vase, maybe. It could be not this one, but what I'm going to show you tonight could be a number of things. Hey, Jill. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Deanne. Yeah, I can't talk about the lost part right now, so I'm going to move on. We are going to go right into the first video, so I can keep my composure here. So I'm going to go into the first video and then we'll talk about it. Okay, we are going to make a little flower vase. It's a little bit different than we've done before. What I have here is B-Mix. This is B-Mix with grog because that's all my clay supplier had. And so I'm going to compress this for just a second. And I actually, this B-Mix with grog does seem to dry out on me just a little bit faster. So I do dip my rib in a little bit of water just to make it glide across the clay better to compress this, and so that I don't just gouge into it. Other than that, I haven't seen a whole lot of difference. I don't really feel much of a difference. If I do go to sponge and edge, then I find the grog. But so far it's not been bad. I will be happy though when my regular B-Mix comes back into stock. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I have this little candy, sucker, popsicle, flower stick, whatever you want to call it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here kind of crossways because I want to keep this piece of clay for something else you're going to see here in a minute. So I'm going to put this on my clay, and I'm actually just going to do what I always do, needle tool around it. And it doesn't even have to be precise. If you don't want any of the drop-in edges, just kind of round around them. It'll be totally fine on this one, I promise you. So if you don't like the little deep corners, kind of round them. Or just come around like this. I'm going to probably fix this template to be rounded. I'm going to take some of this stuff off my needle tool, and then I'm going to come back up here and keep going from this side, just because that's easier for me to go halfway on one side and then come around halfway on the other and come out. So that is my template. Oh, come off. Oh, that's my template. So let me come across right here. And I'm going to take this up as well. That, to me, looks like it could be a problem spot, so I'm just going to round that out to avoid any kind of cracking. See, I just kind of rounded that. So if you think you have a spot that could be go ahead and round it. And this is where I kind of went on the insides. And I'm just going to show you that you're not married to the exact shape if you're concerned about it. So I'm going to pull these out, and don't stop part way. Make sure, if you're going to do that, make sure that you round it and keep going. Don't just stop part way, because then you will cause a, if you stop in there and leave a line, you'll cause a crack. Now I'm going to take this piece, and I'm actually going to set it aside here. And because this bee mix with grog is a little drier, I'm going to grab me a little piece of plastic and set this piece of clay in it, just because I want to keep it from drying out. Now, if it was my regular bee mix, I wouldn't do that. But this, I'm just going to set up here out of my way and leave it. All right. So here, I'm going to take my sponge and just kind of come around my edges like I always do. This is nothing different than we usually do. I just wanted a quick, easy project because we spent time doing our drawing and things like that. So just a quick and easy tonight. My family's got a lot going on, so a lot. So clay is nice and therapeutic for me. So there's that. Let me flip this over. Get that little piece of clay off of there and come around this side and get this as well. And I'm just kind of rounding these edges with a very slightly damp sponge, and I mean very slightly. Round that with my fingers. You need to stick your fingers in water so that you can come around better. Go ahead and do that. Especially if you have to do this bee mix with grog. It was either that or they had no clay. And I'm out. So I've got to wait. They'll let me know when it comes back in, and I'll go get some more. Okay, so I'm going to flip this back over. All right, what are we going to do from here? Well, from here, I'm going to use this. Now, you can use anything. This I created to match, but I did a Lucky Clover plate the other day. And so the Lucky Clover looked like this. And you see how just soft and gorgeous that is, and there's no, you can slightly feel it, but it's very soft, very subtle. This is one technique. And then you could also go this way. This is with the stencil put down, and I just put glaze all over it. This one, however, was done with a different technique. You can do this one whichever way you want to. And think of all of these ways. For instance, let me go ahead and let me get this pressed down on here so that the clay's somewhat coming out of it. That lets me know nothing's going to go under it. Okay, now you can do so many things with this. You can glaze the individual flowers, and oh, would that be gorgeous? That would be super, super gorgeous. I'm just wetting these because this clay dries out so fast. Yeah, I really, really can't wait to get my normal clay back. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? So anyway, so you could glaze every individual flower a different color and really make this thing pop. You can glaze it with just one color. I'm going to press this in. That little piece is sticking up. You can glaze it all one color, and that's going to be gorgeous as well. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you that you can also kind of reverse this whole process. And by that I mean I am going to use my wet sponge, and I'm going to kind of take this and rub it. Now, you do have some little fine pieces in there, so you want to rub away from them, not towards them, or you'll kick them up and bend them, and you don't want to do that. So this way, takes you a little longer than just slapping glaze on it, and make sure you get those little bitty holes. What you're wanting to do is take that. Now, as a glass artist, I did a lot of sandblasting, and I didn't just etch the surface. I did some really deep carvings. I'm going to have to show some pictures in here. And again, I don't know that B-mix with grog is the best way, the best choice for doing this way. But again, it's what I had. It was the technique I wanted to show you. So we'll just make it work. And again, I'm going away from those little bitty pieces. And what this is going to do is just put this texture. Speaking of texture, just because it's got those little flowers on the outside, yeah, it could be still a little organic vase that you could roll texture with a rolling pin on this template and create this, same little vase. You don't even have to have a template, so to speak. You could make this a round or a square and do a variation of what I'm going to show you tonight. So it's just see a design, see a technique, and then go with it in any way that you find that works for you. So again, pulling away from these. And especially where these little pieces are, I'm kind of wanting to get down in there so that when I pull this off, you're going to get a good impression like I did with this. Whoops, over here. See how good this impression is? And that's what you're going to want to do here as well. I'm just rinsing my sponge. And I'm not pressing hard. I'm just pressing. And again, I want to make sure I get into these little areas. I don't want to miss them, even though they're small, because they're a part of the design I'm working with. So I want to make sure they will show. And just go around. And I don't know that you can see it on the camera, but you can see it sitting here. I can see the depth that I'm getting in here, so I'll know when it's ready, and you'll know when it's ready on yours when you see the depth in here. That will tell you that you're going to get a good impression. So it's just another texture, another way of doing texture is all it is. I mean, this has been around for a long time. It's water etching. That's what it is. Etching with water. And I've done this on metal jewelry as well. Now when I sandblast, I'm using a big sandblaster, and I'm usually blasting at about anywhere from 30 to 60 psi. So I have scars on my legs to prove it, where I wasn't paying attention and turned around and pointed it as it's going at my arm or my leg and sandblasted a nice little hole. I don't sandblast in gloves. I sandblast barehanded because I feel it. I can feel depth with my finger. And so if I had gloves on, I wouldn't be able to. It'd be like sandblasting without my glasses on, and I can't do that. So just a little trivia there for you. Okay, now I think I have this pretty good. Go around here, make sure I'm not going to get any cracking on that. I like to round my corners. Okay. So, I think this looks good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off. And doing it this way, you don't have to wait for the glaze to dry because you're not going to glaze this now. You're going to wait until after you bisque to glaze this. And look at that. Is that not pretty? Let me see if I can get this up to the camera. See the depth that's in there? And look at how pretty that is. And this is just another technique that, you know, when you play with it, you will learn to be able to see and know when it's the depth you want. You know, the first few times you do it, you may pull your stencil off and go, oh gosh, I should have done that more. And that's okay, because that's what gives you the experience of being able to eyeball and look at that. Okay, this is actually going to hang on the wall. And so I could do a couple things. I could actually put a little hole here and here, though they'd be offset a little bit, but I could do that, and that would give me a place to put my nails in. But I think what I'm going to do is wait. When it dries, I'll flip it over and make myself a little coil that I can just do this on. This one's a little big for that, but all I'll do is spin it like that, and I'll score it, and I'll put it on the back side. And when I do that, then, and attach it, then when I hang it on the wall, the nail's going to catch in that. Or you can take a piece of nichrome wire or a little U wire that's already done and put in the back while this is still wet, and that will work as a hanger as well. So there's all kinds of ways that you can hang this. Okay, before we go into the next video and you see how I'm going to do the bottom, did anybody guess that type of thing when they saw the template? I thought that was just such a fun shape to use. I tried to answer as many questions as I saw along the way. Melissa, will this work with any stencil? If it's a good heavy stencil, I use a very thick, heavy mylar. So yes, it will work. If you, some of the more inexpensive stencils that are just the thin little mylar, you're not going to get probably enough of a depression in there. So if you're going to do this with other stencils, make sure that they're very thick, very thick. And let's see, who else? What is the bottom part? Ah, that's a surprise, Karen. We haven't gotten to the bottom part yet, but we will shortly. Rhonda, I think I did answer yours. It is called water etching. I mentioned that in the video. I've done that on metal jewelry as well. And let's see, was there any other? Rachel, I think I answered yours. So where the stencil is going to stay the height that the clay started out as, and then you're going to wipe away the clay, so that's going to be more of a depression. Well, all of my stencils, oh, well, then Melissa, it's going to work. It will work on all of them. Okay, so I am going to go right into, well, good thought and good idea, Melody. Everybody listen to that. It's that she gave another way of making a vase. I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm going to go right into this next video for time's sakes. Okay, What we're going to do on this part is I'm going to take this piece of clay that I left wrapped in plastic and put that right here. And what I'm going to do is make myself a little tube here. Now, you can do several things. If you have an extruder, you can extrude yourself a hollow circle. If you don't have an extruder, let me see what I might have here. I'm just going to do this. I am going to take this thickness stick, and let's see, how tall? Right about there. So I'm going to take this thickness stick, and I'm going to make a straight edge on here. There's that one. And just for now, I don't have exactly how much I want this to be cut off. So I'm just going to straighten these edges to start with. And straighten this one. There. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly bend this and put this right here so I can kind of measure how I want. See what I'm doing here? Isn't this cool? So I think I want it, in fact, I think that's perfect. That's kind of sticks out a little much. So I think what I'm going to do is cut it down about there. And you don't want to bend on this too much, but I just want to kind of get it together here. Oh yeah, I think I like that better. It doesn't stick out quite so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and kind of keep it curved. I see where I want to score this, but I also want to take my little leftover piece of clay and I want to give this a slight bottom. So I'm going to score that. I'm going to get my vinegar water out here. And I'm going to put that on the bottom so that I can see my marks. And this will help me stabilize it. I'm trying to, now, if you don't know if it's perfectly round, do this. I have a PVC tube that I could round this over and get the shape that I want. You don't have a PVC tube? What about a cardboard tube? We just had totally tubular in my other group. So here's another totally tubular project. I could do that. You don't have a cardboard tube? Well, what about a bottle of glaze? I think we all have that. And just wrap it around there to give yourself a good shape. Now, you can let this set up as well. But what I'm going to do at the moment is just let it curve. I'm not going to let it sit. Normally I would go set this outside, but for now I'm just going to set this on here long enough to see where I want to score this. And I'm going to score it across because it's in half. I'm going to score it. I'm going to rescore this because I really need this to hold. So I rescored that. And now I'm going to put some of this vinegar water on here. And I'm going to set this down. And I only have a half a tube, right? So I'm going to set this on there. And the reason I scored that is it's going to go here, and I'll cut this straight in just a moment. Now, the other thing, let me move this out of my way, and I better put the lid on it so I don't knock it over. I'm good at that. So the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my needle tool, And I am going to come around here, and if you can see, I'm going to come around here, leaving myself about a little 1/8 of an inch open or over so that I can wrap this up the sides. So I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch here. And then this I'm just going to come across. I'm going to leave me some just in case I need it, and I can cut that off later. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tube and I'm going to set this in here. That one's a little big. Maybe I'll use this one. I'm going to set this in here just so I have something for it to set on. And I'm going to grab my metal rib. Let me move this out of your way. I'm going to grab my metal rib, and I'm actually just going to take this and pull it up so that we have this smooth. And this puts this bottom on where you don't have to worry about it falling off. See how that works? And I'm not worrying about all the goobery stuff on the bottom at this point. I'm simply pulling that bottom up. Now I'll come back and get this and kind of round it. This is a vase, so it doesn't have to be square on the bottom. See how I'm just kind of rounding this. Pulling it clear up, making it nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle tool and just kind of take this excess off of here because I don't really need all of that. And then I'm going to take my sponge and just kind of round it. Look at that. And then you have a seamless little vase right here. Well, a seamless half a vase, right? A seamless half a vase. And if you've messed this up, all you got to do is come around with your needle tool, and we'll fix that. We'll fix that at the end anyway. And so now what I want to do is I want to peel this off. I probably should have put newspaper on here, but since it was a half a one, I thought I could get away with it. And I see that right here I missed a little spot. I want to make sure I pull that up so I don't have any cracking there. All right, and so check it around. Look at this. And we'll sponge and fix more also as we go. But now what I want to do is I want to score the sides of this and the sides of this, and I'm going to test this. This is going to go right here, and it's going to be long. I can see where that edge is, so I may have to fix it in the back, or I can be smart and I can take my wire cutters and I can take some off here. It's okay. Take this off. Hold my hands. Go straight. I can take this off and I can fix all of that and make it shorter, but so that it hits the bottom. Now I probably took a little too much off of there, but that's okay. I just have a longer piece right there, and that's okay. I can put my flowers and not hide my other flowers. How's that? Okay, so, and you say, well, I don't like it that short. Well, then do this. If you want it up there, if you want it taller, well, let's do this. Let's cut the bottom piece off Now I can put it there and I get the height, get the height that I want. I actually want it just a little bit shorter even. I want it like that. That's how I want it. Now, again, I'm going to score this really well. And I'm going to score it across here. And I'm going to take and score inside of here because this is going to go against the sides, and I'm going to fix the top edge when we're done. And go across here. Got that all scored. And now open my vinegar water again. And I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to add that. Take that excess off. My finger mark off. All fixable. All completely fixable. And come on the inside of this. Now, if I would have extruded a tube, I would have taken my wire cutter and cut that tube right in half. That's what I would have done there. So now I'm pressing this in to the sides of this. And what I really need is a wear board, which I have a template here, which will work just fine. So what I'm going to do is very easily pick this up, put it on here, and then bring my banding wheel over here so I can spin this around and see all angles. Okay. And I want to press this in to the sides, both sides, and the bottom. And then we'll fix the correct angle of the top in a little bit. And I'm just using my finger to press this in, smooth it in. Now, what I'm going to do is very carefully set this up. I do not want to let go. Tamp it down a little. I don't want to let it go because this isn't stable enough yet, but I want all my sides cemented in. So I'm going to take my rib and I'm going to come up and bring this in so that it's smooth. Does not have to be perfect at this point, but you don't want big gaps. And so I'm going to smooth this in, and this will keep it from cracking open. See how I'm smoothing that? Now, you see, I'm going to try to do this. You see there's no seams on the back. Now, what I want to do is lay this flat. You have to be careful. You don't want to bend and crack this. Now, I see where this comes together. I have some little spots that concern me that I think, oh, that might be a crack potential. So I'm going to take my rubber tip tool and I'm actually going to just slightly wet it so it will move. And I'm going to twist this in and pull that clay so that it's together and takes care of that seam. Get the clay all wrapped in there so there's no cracking. Like that. And then I can look inside and I can bring this up the inside seams. Now, because I have it on this board, I can hold it here with my hand underneath and get the inside edges as well. And that works perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is
take my sponge and make sure I've got that sponge down so there's no cracking going on. Rolling my finger on this. Now again, if you have an extruder and you make yourself a tube, you can even forego cutting it in half. I'm trying to smooth these tops out. I'm going to use my Sureform on these after they dry just to get them perfect. But I have no seams on the end. Well, I have a little bit. Let me move this right here. I don't know. Whoa. I don't know if you can see inside that. Can you see in there? I'm going to take my my shaper tool and go across that seam. That's all I'm going to do to this at this point. Well, I want to smooth that little spot off. Now, if you wanted to, you can, when this gets leather hard, you can carve on this or do whatever. But look at this for a wall hanging flower vase. So I'm going to go set this out and let it dry a little bit, enough to make it able to move. And then I'll see about either putting a hanger on the back or grab my nichrome wire and stick a couple of U-wires in the back so that I can hang this when it's done. But there you have it. All right. Well, I thought I added the nichrome wire video. I guess I didn't. Let me grab that just real quick. Hold on. Okay, I thought I'd show you real quick my nichrome high temperature little U-shaped. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I am going to take these. Whoops. I'm going to take these and set them aside. And I don't want to keep bending this at the seam because that's going to become a problem. So what I'm going to do is bring this up so that I can see, I'm holding on to it, so that I can see the back side of that. And being able to do that, let me move my banding wheel. Being able to do that, I'm going to take these wires and I'm going to stick them right in the back and try to get them even. That's why I put it across a template. Let me see if I can get this where you can see it. See the back of that? And that stopped me from having to bend it. And you take my shaper tool and kind of shape that back in. And then what I like to do too is take a craft brush and I'm just going to put that, just dampen it in the water, and I'm going to bring that around just to make sure that this is in, and I'm not going to get any cracking at the attachment here. And then I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to go set it outside and let it sit. Now, I will tell you. Okay, so did anybody have any idea that's what the end project was going to be? I will also tell you that you can eliminate 15 minutes of this project if you have an extruder and you can extrude a round hollow form,
small enough that all you need to do is put a bottom on it, cut it to the length, and plop it on there, and score the back of the tube, score the front of the little thing that hung down. Oh, I don't have it with me. And slap it on there, and you'd be done. I'm not sure the gauge on that nichrome wire. I got it at Amazon. It's high fire wire. I can look that up though and put a link in here. But anyway, yes, you can save yourself a whole lot of time if you just extrude out a tube small enough or the width that you want to just stick the whole tube on there and go from there. But, and I say that because this started out to be an extruder project. I extruded out a tube, but my tube was like that big, and that didn't work. So I went the other route. So you guys get to learn more by the things I do incorrectly or, oversized, because then you get to see all the improvisions and all the different ways you can go about getting this done. Who did? How do you prevent warping? Okay, so what I do is, if you notice, I kept that flat on that. That happened to be a template of mine, but same as a wear board. I kept it flat on there. And what I do is I will typically take it outside in the sun for about 10 or 15 minutes just to kind of quick dry the outside. And then I go take it in and I put it, I'll leave it on a flat board, kind of slightly drop it so that the clay will stick to the board, and then I cover it with plastic. And I haven't had any warping on that. So the template, who is that? Wanda. The template isn't on my site yet, but I can put it up there. And the wire, I'll put a link to the wire from where I got it at Amazon. I don't remember the gauge. I just know it's high temperature nichrome they use that you can use in your Christmas ornaments and things like that. Okay, now, if you have more questions, continue to put them in the comments and I'll go back and look at those. But I want to do this drawing with this bowl of names for, let me get the for what is going to make this, and it's going to be for a set of 4. These are the single dual drapes, and the names that are in this bowl are the names that commented from way back when I put this in, excuse me, here in this group, in my Slab to Fab group, in Instagram, and all of that. So what I'm going to do is simply grab all of these names, and I'm not going to look, and I'm going to just grab in here and pick one out, dig around, and let's see what we got here. Y'all are looking, and you see I wasn't looking, and you see it's a whole bowl full, and every one of them have different names on there. Look at all that. So that's the one I grabbed. Who did I draw? And let's see, who is this? Sherry, how do I say that last name? Chauvin? Sherry Chauvin. Are you on, Sherry? I have not seen Sherry on. I do usually see her, but this is that backwards? Look and see if that's backwards. Do you guys see that backwards?
I can't see it.
You can't see it at all? Ooh. How about now? Sherry Chauvin. Oh, there it is. Is that backwards to you guys? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I can't tell if it's backwards. But Sherry Chauvin, you will have a set of 4 lucky clovers. And again, I just absolutely love the shape. There's so much you can do with it. With that, it is 6:18. I know that this one went a little long, and It went a little long. I got carried away because my tube was too big, and so I had to improvise. But it is what it is. And I think, I don't know who's on in here, but I think, whoops, dropped somebody. I think I'm going to do this. I think, oh, here, Mr. Wilson, come stick your hand and pull somebody out. We just want to see your hand. Pull somebody out, and what I'm going to do, whoever I pull out, I'm going to send them the stencil and template. Oh, somebody asked how tall that template was, and that one happened to be 10.5 inches. Okay, this, who's going to get a template and stencil is Rita Minta. Rita Minta? So, will you take these so that we know, so that we keep these so we don't lose these? Rita Minta? I don't really recognize that. But, so there you have it. It is 6:19. I hope you enjoyed this little project. It was just something very different. As you know, I like to be outside the box and do different things. And next week, we won't be here. My kids will be at the funeral of their daddy, and I will be taking care of my mother. So next week is out, but the following week I'll try to come up with something super, super special. See you guys.